Hey everybody. So as promised, here's an in-depth sort of look at what's going on with the ship right now, where it sits, how far it's come, how far it still has to go, the very next steps that need to be addressed, and I'll be covering everything. There'll be brass coming up, talking about the space pod room, the back room redo that I just did, over with the fusion core there, starting on the left. I'll be putting 2 fusion cores into that setup to see fitting issues and how the light works, essentially. The wall pylons and computer areas, I'll cover those with fiber optics specifically. I'll talk about what's going on with that next. The regular wall pylons, got to talk about them. That back computer wall up there along with the freezer walls. A few definite notes about those. The space pod room, like I mentioned, the astrogator in the middle. We'll definitely be covering that. There's the last little bits of clear plastic there that go over in the freezer tube wall that I'll put together, getting down to the computer controls in the front there. Got to drill all those little lights out. That's going to be a big one. All the doors of the ship have been cut out, and for brass we'll be installing it into the main computer control over there. But I've got some spare stuff I'll also cut up on camera just to make sure I covered the overall procedure that I was following. Paragraphics is going to be doing their own video series too on that as well, so check that out at their website, paragraphics.biz. So basically all of those parts plus the whole hull leaves the freezer tube walls over here. The front chairs go in there too, I think. Over on the back here, we've got a bag of miscellaneous plastic. That's the clear stuff, the styrene, a couple of the chairs, the domes, freezer tube walls, and the elevator. And then over, where are we? There we go, there's a bag of landing gear. I'm glad I didn't put that together yet, because if it had to go into the model, it just would have been really inconvenient. Keeping that a fairly smooth ovoid-ish shape has definitely been a good thing for the build so far. So I'm going to go into depth and detail on each one of these things with some better close-ups, and I'll go from there. Alright, so first up, I figure we'll cover the doors. So here we got all 4 of them. Plus, of course, the standalone airlock door, which if you're going to have the outer hull open, you got to shave the flash off of all these injection spouts. You got to shave down the part number, and then you got to fill in all these holes as well. So there's a good amount of work to do on this one. A lot of putty work right there. Maybe not a lot, but certainly a good amount, and it's got to be fairly accurate if you're going to keep this door closed but the outer hull open. And speaking of this, like I said, I wanted the inside visible, so I got to repair this damage here and probably square off these sides, but otherwise this piece is good. One other option I could do is to cut this window out so you could actually see through it when it's closed, because that wasn't always shut like that. This is the back room over by the stairway. I wanted to be visible behind that, and the part is inside the hull, so I'll show this off later at some point. But this is pretty much good to go. There's a little damage on this side that I gotta fix, if that didn't fix it right there. Another round of primer and paint. We'll see how this looks, but overall it's in good shape. This leads to the cargo room over to the forward of the airlock. There's a little damage here around the edges, but the way the part fits, I think that one is in the hull as well. The way the part fits is basically pretty good. Here it is. And you got to consider that the angle this is going to be visible at as well. So straight on, that definitely does not look all that hot. But off to the side, which is where you're going to be viewing it from the inside, if at all, it's not too bad, but I will have to fix up the area around the doorknob there, or the slider, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully I've been in frame this whole time. Real sorry about that. And space pod door. This is one that I did not have to cut out at all because there's a window first of all, so you can see into this room. You need one LED, maybe two. And then I'm just going to get a screen grab of the actual space pod and paste that in there for the back door. So the walls do need to be painted. There is a specific paint scheme back there, but this piece did not have to be cut out. I've got a little repair to do around the edges there, and it's just as well that it can. The door does slide into the ceiling somehow, because there's not really any room in the spaceship up there, of course. But you could have it at any different height. You could even have a figure going in there. So that's definitely a good display option if the door is partially open or completely. The brass is pretty good on this. The part fits. I was worried about the angle on the ceiling there, but that worked out well. A little minor filling to do on this one, but essentially it is pretty much set and ready to go. Over on the astrogator, I mentioned that I drilled this open in case I wanted to add any lights. After studying Season 3, there's definitely no lights in this entire area. One of these panels may be lit up, but that's really it, and there's no way because of the design to really light that up. So that's nothing I'm going to worry about. The only bad part about drilling that hole in there is that to set the height of the little spaceship, this goes down to wherever that deck hit. So as long as you can pretty much fake that, something like this, you're all set and glue that into place. Unless you're going to motorize this, in which case there's plenty of room down there for a motor, and you can loosen this up so it'll spin nice and easy. No lights for this. One thing that I didn't like about this part is the fit. And initially there was a rim around here that I cut away. There's actually a rim on the inside of this that I cut away as well, because that was keeping the parts really far apart. So I attempted to shave those down and get rid of them, but there is still just a little problem going on. The fins on the top and the bottom just don't quite want to line up because of the way they rest on each other. So I actually got to shave those down some because there is still a gap in between here, and I would like to eliminate that. Then there will be some putty to fill those edges as well. This is a perfect fit, but it's off to the side. So there's a little work to do on this, but essentially it's pretty much there. Clean that up before I put new glue down for it. Let's talk about these parts are pretty much ready to go. And I got to do some light sanding on here. I got a little bit of crud going on. Those are good. All of these should be good. It would have been really nice if these were cast in clear plastic because of the light up nature of these edges here. So that would have been the ideal. The next step, these are all ready for paint, all set to go for their final coats, and then I can actually start doing stuff with the rest of it, is getting onto a paint phase next. The only other thing will be reaching into the Paragraphics vinyl kit and seeing if there's a strip that will cover up that seam, hopefully fairly well. If it's close to on color, I don't mind.